The following module discusses the standardized mortality ratio, short form SMR, which refers to an indirect method of standardizing mortality rates of populations. This SMR is a quantity which is usually expressed in terms of a ratio or a percentage that tells us the increased or the decrease in mortality of a particular study population with respect to the general or what is known as the standard population. In other words, the measure tells us how many persons per thousand of the population will die in a given year and what the causes of death will be. Therefore, when there is an SMR greater than 100, we can say that the population under study has excess mortality relative to the standard. The SMR is often used in life insurance companies in order to periodically update their premiums based on mortality rates, and medical researchers also use it in order to track diseases related deaths, using these statistics to shift attention and funding towards particular risks. The limitations of the SMR is that a lot of caution would have to be used if few deaths would affect how the SMR is to be interpreted in a particular study population, but suitable statistical techniques can be used. The SMR also cannot easily be compared across areas as the population profiles may differ and therefore have different weights assigned in the method of calculation of SMR, making comparisons difficult. Fetal mortality, also covered in the following module, is a term used to cover all stillbirths, miscarriages and abortions, but a more strict definition does not cover the very early stages of pregnancy. Further discussion can be found in the module.
I am Dr. C.P. Prakasham, retired professor from International Institute for Population Sciences, Mumbai, Module 38, 39, 40. In this module, it is incorporated marital status, level of education, differential by mortality. Learning objective. In this module, we will be discussing about marital status, education differentials by mortality. Number 1, marital status by mortality. Number 3, educational status. Number 4, education and mortality. Marital status. United Nations recommended marital status into 5 categories. Number 1, single person, never married. Number 2, currently married population. Number 3, divorce and non-remarriage. Number 4, widowed and not remarried. Number 5, married but legally separated. Other categories followed in different societies. Number 1, extra-legal conscientious marriage, union. Census of India follows marital status as never married, married, divorced, widowed and separated. Caribbean data on marital status includes visiting and common law union along with conventional categories. Marital status by gender and place of living in India during 2014 shows those were more than 96 males and half of the females are married. 3.5 times females are widowed, divorced or separated than male. Figure number 1. Marital status by gender. In this, marital status by male, female and total is given. Females are 52.1% married, males are 96.6% are married, and in total 49.3% are married. Rural-urban wise, there is disparity in marital status in India. However, the percentage married is higher in urban area than rural area. The table number 1 below gives the marital status by sex and place of residence in India 2014. Here it is given never married, married, widow and divorced, separated and total is given. If you see the last row, urban-rural differential shows that never married are higher in rural area and married is higher in urban area, and the difference in total it became nullified. The source, marital status by age shows that 37% remain single, never married, up to legal age less than or equals to 18 years. Table 2 shows marital status by age in India. If you see the table, never married declines and married increases as the age increases. Marital status and mortality. Two prevailing theories explaining this relationship are marriage protection and marriage selection. Marriage protection theory states that marriage provides a protection health effect through across to a network of personal social relationship, improved social status, ACS and support, and the promotion of healthy lifestyle and behavioral choice. Marital dissolution are associated with stress which may increase risk of mortality. The selection theory states healthier individuals are more likely to marry or stay married because of advantageous attributes like physical and physiological well-being. Married individuals have been shown to have a reduced risk of mortality. Mortality is influenced by factors that are associated with marital status, behavioral factors, alcohol consumption, smoke and diet, physiological distress and pathophysiological mechanism. Marriage was associated with healthier dietary behavior and improved diabetes management because spouses are involved in meal planning, food purchases and selection as well as preparations. In contrast, women who were divorced or widowed were more likely to have decreased vegetable intake and relapse or start smoking compared to women who were married. Studies have found that marriage is associated with decreased alcohol intake, whereas divorce was associated with increased alcohol consumption. Some evidences suggest men gain more health benefits from marriage than women. Education. People's level of education has become an important indicator of their social status. Education, therefore, is likely to be prominent across a wide variety of social situations and often used by people to understand their own and other positions in the social world. Level of education and social identity. Number 1. Social identities are evaluated through social comparisons. So, people with low level of education often comes from social situations with a feeling of inferiority and a negative social identity. Number 2. Education is seen to be based on individual ability, and so those with low level of education are perceived as personally responsible for their low status. And number 3. The defining attribute of those with low level of education is the very thing that defines their low status. Percentage literacy is high in Kerala 93.9% and least in Bihar 63.8%. There are 11 states and union territories below India on literacy. This graph shows the comparison of level of literacy in different states in India, having 3/4 level in India and bottom level is the Bihar and the top level is the Kerala state. Education and mortality. Women with more education tends to have smaller families in part because of increased employment opportunities and better knowledge about contraception. Fewer children in a family improve the chances that an infant will survive. More education also helps women make better decisions about many health and disease factors such as prenatal care, basic hygiene, nutrition and immunization, etc. Reference Mother, India 1998-1999. Infant mortality found to be highest for illiterate mother, which gradually declines with an increase in level of education of mother. National Family Health Survey data shows that levels of infant and child mortality in India reduce with the improvement in the educational status of mother. This table gives the infant mortality and child mortality, which has been estimated by using the indirect techniques by the National Family Health Survey. Illiterate mothers in rural area, infant mortality is 89.4, whereas if you say that high school and above, it shows half of that, that is 35.7. If you take in the urban area, infant mortality illiterate mother experiences 67.8, whereas in the high school and above, it shows 30.4%. Similarly, child mortality, if you see that illiterate mother in rural area experiences 41.5%, whereas high school and above women education shows 5.6. This is true with the urban and rural areas also. It is hypothesized that higher level of education, more chances of getting employment, leads to better living conditions, influence better health, leads to low mortality level in communities. A study on the level and trends and the differentials concerning infant mortality and under 5 mortality in Ethiopia according to primary demographic and socio-economic variables using data from the Ethiopian Demographic and Health Survey of 2000, 2005 and 2011. Some of the findings are given below relating infant mortality to mother's education and marital status. Table 2. Level, trends and differentials of infant mortality by selected characteristics Ethiopia 2000-2011. Averages of 10 years preceding for the surveys. The findings revealed that the most important determinants of infant mortality rate amongst the characteristics in the study is the mother's education. There is a 42% lesser likelihood of deaths of infants to mother who have attended secondary or higher education compared with infants to mothers with no education. You can see the reference ICF International 2013. The data also revealed marital status to be an important predictor of infant mortality, wherein infants to mothers who were in union had a lower chances of death than those born to mothers who were not in a union. B. A study of mortality level of older person in Bangladesh and the impact of spouses using data from the Marital Demographic Surveillance System DSS. The findings of the study revealed, the findings also shows that the non-married had a higher mortality risk than the currently married. Older persons in rural Bangladesh who are widowed and divorced have mortality rate that are much higher than their peers who are currently married. The males across age group and marital status have a higher mortality risk. than females. Differences between those married and non-married could be mainly due to differences in age, economic status, and disability status, whose importance varies by sex. That women are impacted by decreased survival more than men could be due to the association between poverty and widowhood for women more than for men, although it was seen that other effects could not be ruled out. You can see the source, Rahman et al. And other things. Thank you very much.